Oh, hi guys. We're doing another variable rate update video today, as we do every week. So this is super important information. And, we first of all, I want to make you aware that, of course, rates have not moved up. This is important because we've been talking about this every single week that rates don't move up accidentally. They don't move up surprisingly. They move up on purpose. There's a meeting that happens. The Bank of Canada decides to increase the overnight rate, which in turn influences the prime rate, which the prime rate influences your variable rate. The rates that the media is talking about only pertains to that one rate. It's not all rates. It's not all situations. Even though the media says that, it's just not true. So, I mean, we're, biased, media reports are totally fine. People can have different opinions, but, and I think that's healthy and good. But if you, what we see a lot of the media stuff on is that, like, it's just not right. So, that's the rate they're talking about going up. Okay, so we know that hasn't changed. So your variable rate mortgage, nothing has changed on it. But, I'm just listening to the calls we're getting. We're having a lot of calls with people around, variable rates and locking in and things like that. So first of all, know this. I'm not paying your mortgage. And so we will not be stopping you from putting in, from locking your mortgage. We're just here to give advice and then you make your own decisions on it. What I am really concerned about is the amount of people that are blatantly going ahead and locking in. Actually, I wouldn't say that's a lot of people, but enough calls that I'm a little concerned. So, yes, I realize that maybe a family member tells you, I mean, we had a situation this week where maybe a lawyer had suggested that a floating rate was a red flag or a variable rate was a red flag. Hey, look, here's the thing. We need to make sure you have the right information in hand. I mean, we had two clients last year locking in a variable to a fixed rate because of impending rate increases, only to sell their home 3 years down the road. I mean, that's the difference of them paying a $30,000 penalty or a $3,000 penalty. So they lost $27,000 by locking in on the variable when rates never move. So not only did they lose the interest money, which at that point was nominal if they were selling, but they lost $27,000 by taking that advice. So, we need to make sure that we're at least having a conversation, what you're doing, when you're doing, the risks that are going to have happen. Because, we've talked about many times, the biggest thing is not actually rate increases, it's the prepayment penalty. And every single person we've ever had locked in always has a conversation with us over about, the idea that their penalty is really high and what can we do about that. So, I mean, look, I'm not going to say we blanketly will tell people always to not to take a variable. There was a portion of time in 2019 where the spreads were really different. And, I think it was very even fixed or variable. And so people went either way. We didn't fuss about it. And, there was some different qualifying rules. So at one time, there's different qualifying rules for fixed and variables. You can qualify for a fixed over a variable. So, I say that if you have a fixed rate, we didn't change course on it, or something like that. And also that, we're not like gonna, we're not going to dig our heels in and we just want to look at all data for that type of thing. But we're definitely not recommending locking at this point. I also want to make it clear on this video what happens when you lock in a rate. I think a lot of people think that locking in a rate is a huge process. If the opportunity comes and you decide to lock in, it is a 10-minute conversation. You call your lender, you say, I want to lock in, and they will usually do it over the phone with you in a few minutes, or they'll send you a one paper and DocuSign. There's no cost to do so. They would love to have you lock in. Now, how it actually works in practical terms is if the bank has to move a rate, Bank Canada moves a rate, that comes up pretty much immediately. Within a couple of days, lenders move their prime rate. Now, when I say lenders, usually a lender will say, I'm following RBC's prime rate or I'm following TD's prime rate. So that will actually be on your mortgage payment. When you get your mortgage, you'll say, as per RBC's prime rate. So then the banks will try, if the overnight rate goes up, they'll decide if they're going to move their prime rate. They will. They will always move their prime rate, and they will not eat the profits for you. So, don't think I'm optimistic that that's going to be the situation. But yeah, they will move them. They will increase them up. Then after that happens, they'll send out notifications that 60 days after that, your payment is going to change. If you have a mortgage, your payment changes. Your payment doesn't change with every mortgage. With some mortgages, the variable stays the same. The interest principal ratio changes. Secondly, a lot of you have guaranteed variables. So guaranteed variable means that if you take a variable, the fixed rate outperforms or the variable rate, we compensate you the difference. So all of these things are super important because they are they are what happens down. Like they are super important to be aware of. So it's not a quick process. The other thing that people are asking about is what rate do you lock in at? So we had a lot of people call, and this happens all the time. Okay, let's lock in. I'll just lock in at my 1.4 rate. Now, look, if that was the case, we would have to really look at being a huge proponent for fixed rates. But that's not the case. When you lock in at you lock in whatever the 5-year fixed rate are. As of this video, it's 2.79. Now, do we think that as variable rates increase, will fixed rates increase? They're not officially correlated, even though they do tend to, maybe go up and down in about the same time frame. They don't. One doesn't mean the other happens. They run on two separate railway tracks. So the thing to think about is that they run on two separate railway tracks, but maybe when they're moving the same direction, but they don't run on the same tracks, or one doesn't pull the other. So that's probably the case there. So when it comes to a fixed rate, when it comes to what rate you can lock in at, you can lock it to equal or greater than your term. So if I'm 2 years in my term, I can lock it to a 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I can lock it to any term that's equal to or greater. I can lock it to a shorter term than that. I can lock it to any of those tapes. So right now, 5 years, 2.79. So you can see why we're not saying lock in. If you're having 1.45, why would you lock in that, right? Because you'd have to have a lot of rate increases to increase that. So anyway, that is our video this week. If you want to discuss some options, because you're a little bit worried on the variable, you've heard different things. We've got lots of videos on it, but I don't mind going through your personal circumstance. And we're going to show you how to lock in. If you go, no, Joel, after all that, I just want to lock in, we're going to show you how to lock in. That's definitely going to be the case. So have a great week, and we'll talk to you soon.